All right, we'll go ahead and get started with questions. We'll go right in the front.
For Malcolm and Anthony, we talked about the being aggressive and having that mindset. Does it change now that you're a win away from a Final Four? Does the pressure change? Is it harder to kind of control your mindset?
Anthony?
That attitude doesn't change. I think it's something that we've instilled in this program that we're going to go after. We're gonna try our best to do what we can do in order to advance as far as we can. And that's just something that's not going to change. The emotions are high right now. After that win last night, but it's time to get it back down to earth. And after practice today, we really addressed some things in practice that are going to be good for the game tomorrow.
Malcolm?
Yeah, I think pressure is a distraction. We're not feeling pressure. We're enjoying this moment. We're excited to play. We're not really worried about the Final Four right now. We're worried about tomorrow's game and, taking care of business.
Stay back in the front.
Tony, I was intrigued yesterday. You mentioned the door knockers that you packed for the road. Can you elaborate on that?
It's just something that ever since these guys have been here, every home game and every road game, it's just hanging on a wall. It's just a simple door knocker, and we just, before these guys go out and the coaches go out for a game, everybody just knocks on it, and it's just symbolic of just keep knocking. You don't, sometimes the door gets slammed in your face. Sometimes I say maybe you open it an inch or you get your foot in the door or your shoulder, but all we're in charge of is to continue to knock, and maybe we can push through that door, and it's just symbolic of that, and just something that I used to do at Washington State, but I really like that mindset. I think these guys embody that ability to just knock away.
Go on the right side.
Yeah, Tony, in the 3 games you guys have played against Syracuse these past 3 years, you've shot the ball pretty well against their zone. Can you pinpoint any reasons that you maybe have had that success, and does it give you any confidence now going into this game?
Well, it's a good zone. I mean, you have to be able to attack it in different ways. You have to knock down some shots. The ball has to move. You have to dent it off the dribble, get on the glass, different kinds of things. And I just think that I have the guys that have the right spacing and the right mindset, and these are the guys who've made the shots and made the plays. And it's a challenging zone, no doubt, but I think some experience against it makes you respect it even more, knowing you have to be aggressive, but you can't be unsound because they get live ball turnovers, and that hurts. But if you just are too hesitant or passive against it, you can have trouble. We had a lot of trouble, I remember, there last year early on, and then picked it up.
Stay in the front row.
Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times. London, could you talk about the assist-turnover ratio for the 3 guards yesterday? Did you notice it? I know you're not really that big on stats, but that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we took the ball. We took care of the ball extremely well. We wanted to get good shots. We didn't want to settle, and it just goes to show that our teammates knocking shots down. We're playing with a lot of confidence, and I feel like that goes into that.
Go right in the front row.
Matt Schneiman from the Daily Orange. Malcolm, Jim Boeheim compared you to Klay Thompson. I guess that's a high compliment, but what can the zone kind of do to maybe not make you look like that? And I know you've kind of had success against the zone in the past, but what kind of threats does it pose?
Coach Boeheim recruits guys that fit the mold to play that zone. So they're long, they're athletic, and they're very active, so they challenge a lot of shots. I think the trap that the zone presents is shooting quick shots, shooting your first open shot, not getting them moving, and just settling. So, not settling and getting the shots that you want later in the shot clock, I think, is the key.
Go back on the right side.
Ava Wallace for the Washington Post. For Anthony, you kind of had, I guess, a little bit less production towards the end of ACC play than you did at the beginning. What is happening now in tournament play? Are teams doing something different that are making you have these big games? You're leading the team right now through tournament play. Has something changed?
I can't call it. It's pretty much my teammates are just finding me and not really doing anything too special. They're just really looking for me, and I'm just happy right now. That's it.
Stay on the right side.
Shannon Spake, ESPN. I'm going to give this a go with Anthony as well. So last night after the game, I asked you about the emotions after the game and how you guys really kind of controlled those. We didn't see a lot of celebrating. And you said that's something that you guys have kind of, well, emotions right now, but it's something you guys have worked on this season. I'm wondering if you could just expand on that and tell me how much thought you guys have really given to bigger picture outside of just making it to this point.
We handle one game at a time, and it's something that Coach Bennett is always drilling into our heads, just handle one game at a time, because we don't want to look too far ahead or be harping on the last game that we played, and that's something that it helps us really understand where we need to be mentally, and it helps us out a lot in that way, because you don't want to get too up or too down for a certain game or be looking at the past game and saying that we're going to live off that past success or anything like that.
Go right here in the front row.
Matt Schneider from the Daily Orange. For London and Devin, I guess, I know you guys like to find Malcolm off screens a lot. In terms of playing against the zone where you can't really, not really many screens, how does that change? I guess finding him and finding other guys when you guys can't really screen that much?
Devin, you want to take that?
Yeah, I think Malcolm moves well, without the ball. So being able to get him in the middle and be able to make plays in there is really big for us.
London, anything to add to that?
Malcolm will be a huge part of getting into the middle of the zone. We may not be able to set as many screens, but we have some playmakers with and without the ball. So I think we'll be able to find a way to get him the ball.
Stay in the front row on the right side.
This is for Isaiah over here. You've had some pretty good success when you go up against zones because of your passing ability, running the high-low with Anthony. Do you enjoy playing against zones? Do you feel like you kind of thrive off that a little bit?
I really like to be in a high post area. I feel like that's where I'm most comfortable, and that's usually where I am when we play against the zone. So when I get it there, it's kind of looking for Anthony and know who he's going to be, but also, finding shooters on the outside and then taking my shot when it's there.
Right in the front row.
Sam Blum from Daily Orange in Syracuse. And Anthony, you may have been asked this before by Virginia media, but I know you don't like to look past the next game, but are you looking toward April 8th at all? I mean, does that ever come up, the wedding? Do you think about that?
I think about it every day, mainly because my fiance won't let me forget about it. But it's something I'm really looking forward to. At this moment, the March Madness is really something that I'm in the moment with right now, but I know that there's something special at the end of all this.
We're in the second row.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Tony, after last night's game, Coach Boeheim said that you're one of the best coaches he's seen, and he's seen a lot of coaches. I wondered how you would react to that, and if you could elaborate on how you feel about Coach Boeheim as a coach.
Yeah, he's buttering me up. I understand that. No, he's Hall of Fame coach. That was one of the things that was so appealing about coming to the ACC, and I think it's why these guys were excited to come and play in this league. You get a chance as a coach to challenge yourself against the best, and as players, you're going against the elite players and talent, and that's exciting. And what those guys have done for us younger coaches, Coach K, Coach Williams, Coach Pitino, and obviously Coach Boeheim, is it's unbelievable. And you hope you get chances. We always talk about that. You hope you get chances to go against them and have a chance at, we always say, title fights, to get in those and to go toe-to-toe with the best. So, like I said, it's very kind of him, and that's humbling. But, our program isn't to somewhere those summer programs are yet, but we're knocking. That's what that's all about. We continue to knock. So, and I think what he's done, we always talk about simplicity with execution. And that's what he does, is things that he knows what he's going to do, and he's mastered it with his defense and his offense, and it's why they've been so good over the years.
Go right on the left side here.
Tony, with this season specifically, that first matchup with Syracuse to now, just what you've seen on film and how the team has grown into the point where they are right now, and then what you can say about Mike Gbinije, because Jim's given a lot of credit to Malcolm Brogdon as well.
Yeah, they've improved. Some of those young guys, Leiden, he's gotten a lot better. Gbinije, he's a fifth year, so his experience, his ability to play off the dribble. Richardson, they're better. Howard's playing more. I think they've improved and gotten better, but triple threat guards for sure. They can score off the bounce, they can catch and shoot, and good size. And that's he's from Richmond, Virginia, Michael is, and we tried to recruit him real hard. And So we know how good he is, and he's really been a key and has led that team and taken them to obviously this point, which is special.
Back to Shannon on the right.
Coach Bennett, excuse me, Shannon Spake, ESPN. I love the story that you told about the advice that your dad gave you about don't tiptoe into this game. And obviously we saw the way that it affected the players, how quickly they came out, how strong they were. I'm wondering, with you on the bench, we don't always get to watch the way that a message like that might affect you in a game. And I'm wondering how did that motivate you yesterday in the game?
Oh, it was great. I said I just was so thankful. I got to spend a special time with my dad and to hear that story about my grandfather, his father. Those are those moments that you cherish forever. There's so many things experiences I have with these guys in special settings that you just hold on to. And it just gives you kind of a peace and a great feeling going into that. And, you know, that was it was great to hear that. I didn't know that. And just him taking the time, and he's such a wise man, and he's had a huge influence. I mentioned that yesterday was powerful, and he actually was at the game yesterday. He hardly ever comes. Don't know if he'll come tomorrow, but he was there, and that was pretty good. And we thought we heard him yell once, which is probably a miracle. That was only once we heard him yell something, but I was glad he was there and got to experience that. Build the wall. I heard him yell in transition defense. Build the wall. I've heard that many times. So.
Go in the third row on the left.
Jack Carney, Sports Capital Journalism Program. Coach, Malcolm mentioned yesterday the unity, the pillar of unity. I was wondering, the 5 pillars you've built this program on, was that something you got from your dad? And if so, where did he come up with that whole philosophy? Where
Sure.
did that originate?
Yeah, that you know, it's like Wooden's Pyramid of Success. They're biblical pillars. They're 5 of them: humility, passion, unity, servanthood, and thankfulness. And I guess it was like 30-some years ago, my father, he said his faith was important to him. He said, somehow, some way, I want it to play out in how I coach. And I want to study the Bible and see what he thought were principles that would make for a great team basketball and even great individual players. So they're not his pillars. Humility, know who you are. Don't think too highly of yourself. Don't think too lowly of yourself, and how they apply to us as a team. And they're not lip service to us. They're really important, and they help us and go down the list and explain each one. But it's just it's kind of a legacy he's left behind, and they're just such a guide for us, and they help us and help me a lot. And so they started way back then, and I know he's passed those on to some other teams. Some real good teams have used those. And I think obviously they're bigger than just basketball, but they really help us on the basketball court, and of course after it. And I like I said, when these guys, they honor the pillars, that's the greatest gift that I can have as a coach, to see them do that. And I think it's become, for the 4 years or 5 years they've been here, part of the fabric of our program for sure.
Go on the left side on the aisle.
Zach Rizzo, New York Post. When you guys played him the first time, Richardson had a pretty good game. He had 23. What do you remember? What impressed you about him then, and what makes him a difficult guard?
Yeah, as a first year, as a freshman, you know, he was good, as I said, off the bounce, where he could, you know, take a couple dribbles, freeze you, rise up and shoot it. He could shoot it off the catch. I think he's driving better, good size, and you know, he is a very good player, and he's going to be a real good one, as you can see. But he can go get his shot with his size, good stroke, and plays the game for sure. You got to respect what he can do off the catch and off the bounce.
Go right here in the front.
For London, Devin, and Isaiah, obviously there's a lot of reasons to want to win this next game, but is there any pressure on you or thought of wanting to win for Anthony and Malcolm? And if you could all speak to what those guys have meant to you during your UVA time.
Isaiah, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, so basically these guys have kind of taken me in since I've been here, and you know, helped me on and off the court and things like that. And I feel like we're all bought in, and we're trying to win for each other at this point. So, you know, I just go out and play hard for these guys.
Yeah, I think, you know, to speak to their leadership, you know, is really key on the court, you know, even off the court. They lead us each and every day in practice, and they bring it, and they actually practice what they preach. So it's, you know, being able to go out and get it for these guys is really big for us.
Definitely want to at least come out and get something for them. It's huge, but I think we all want to get it for each other. Not only these two, the coaching staff, and even our younger guys. We just want to get it for everybody in this program. So,
We'll have the student athletes here for 5 more minutes. We'll go on the aisle on the left.
Yeah, Tony, Dan Wolken, USA Today. At the end of 13, you lost a couple really close games to sort of take you guys off the bubble. I'm curious at that time as you evaluated where you were as a program, just what were your thoughts about sort of, trying to break into the top part of the ACC, and what was the biggest, bridge to get from there to where you are now?
Yeah, that was the year we went to the NIT. I remember that was a valuable experience. Thought we had a pretty good year in conference, but I've been fortunate to be part of programs that have had to start and really rebuild. I watched my father do it at Wisconsin, where they were not strong when he got there. I saw him do it at Washington State, where they hardly won any games, and just build it. And I think what it taught me is how diligent you have to be. And no matter what people are saying on the outside, you have to know what matters to you and stay with it. I know as a young coach, I don't think, had I not experienced that, I would have been like, oh, we can't do it the way we're doing it. We gotta quick fix it. And we just said, no way. I watched it work. So I knew we were close. I knew we were getting better and better, and I knew it was just a matter of time. And we always saw our pillar of thankfulness. Let's be thankful for what we're learning through this adversity, because eventually when we apply that, we're going to be successful. And it's no guarantees. It's a fine line. I mean, we were 2-3 this year, and it's just a fine line between being really good and just kind of average. And I knew it was coming because I've seen it happen as a player when I played, as an assistant coach at those places I mentioned. And that experience is everything. If you didn't have that experience, I think you would have doubted it a lot more. And I didn't, because I knew I thought was going to come.
Go on the right side.
Hey guys, Adam Rossel from Medill here. Obviously Syracuse likes to play pretty slow on offense as well. How have you guys going to attack that if it's the case where it's a Wisconsin from a couple years ago, or is it in the 40s, or Michigan State in the tournament the last couple of years?
Who's the question for?
Coach, and then the seniors, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just about getting a quality shot. You have to, offensively, you got to work. Good defenses are hard to break down. Their zone's hard to break down. You can't just one pass shot. I mean, if it's a great shot, we take it, and we try to make it hard to get quick shots early. So it's just getting a quality shot, and sometimes it takes a little longer to work to break it down, and you just battle, and you don't get caught up if it's longer possessions. You got to lock in and be ready for that offensively and defensively, or it's quicker pace. But I think you have to be able to play both ways. But you just don't get broken down too quickly. Defensively, hopefully we don't. They're not like that, and that sometimes lowers the possessions. But if that's the game, that's the game.
Go on the left side here.
Greg Couch at Bleacher Report. Tony, you've got some experienced players here, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on one-and-done players, and if you'd ever be willing to fill a team with them.
Yeah, I think our program, the formula has always been get these guys a bunch of experience, and when when they have that experience, they're going to be able to play against the best. We haven't ever been in a spot where we could recruit one-and-done players. It's just our program isn't at that spot. I'm not saying I never would, but I so enjoy watching these guys develop, and that's made our team strong. I think if you're going to get one-and-done players, you better be able to back that up and do it year after year. And no problem with that. A lot of programs have been successful. We just aren't in that spot. So, but if a guy has a chance, absolutely. Having played professionally, I'm fine with that. I just think you got to be ready for that. That's a big jump, and I know I've enjoyed the maturity of this team and watching them go through some of the being on the bubble, the hard things, to become a team that is contending for some special things.
Stand back on the left.
Coach Bill Bender, Sporting News. You just mentioned that kind of, but what has impressed you most maybe about London developing his game as a passer, point guard, and player?
Yeah, well, he has a great feel for the game. We saw that when we were recruiting him. He just ties things together. I mentioned a guy that I had at Washington State named Taylor Rochesty. When he came into our program, we were talented and good, but he just took us to another level. And I think London has done that with these guys. He understands, how to get guys looks. He has great feel, and I think his game has improved. And I think that's what his high school coach told me too. He sort of was so unselfish early, but then as he got into his upperclassmen years, he started to become more assertive and aggressive and understand when and when not to, and that is such a key. And I mean, all these guys have such specific roles, but his maturity is beyond his years as a player, and we've really taken off since he's been here.
All right, this time we'll let the student athletes go. They'll be available in the breakout rooms. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we'll continue with questions for Coach Bennett, right in the front row.
Coach, what have you kind of done to be successful against a guy like Trevor Cooney? And if you saw the tape from last night, what did he kind of do differently in terms of getting to the basket and being a different type of player? And how do you kind of?
Well, with really good players and really good teams, it comes down to the same stuff. You just try to make them earn. They have to earn their looks. You don't allow them to the best of your abilities to get easy looks. And it's just that mindset. If they're going to hit shots, it's got to be contested shots. And that was our mindset against Iowa State. They're good enough and talented enough offensively to score against our defense at times. So let's take out all those breakdowns that give them the easy ones. So again, against players like that and their guys, it's just make them earn. That's kind of the mantra or the mindset.
Stay in the front row on the right.
Tony, Jim Boeheim said that he coached against your father.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many of those coaches are still out there that coached against both of you, and you think you will have a conversation about Coach Boeheim and Syracuse with your dad before the game?
Yeah, they played in the NCAA tournament when my dad was at Green Bay. I remember that. It was a very good game. And then when my father was the head coach at Wisconsin, they coached against each other. Sure, I'll talk to my dad, but I know my father has great respect for him. And, of course, there's Coach Williams. There's a number of coaches that have coached against my father.
Go in the back in the middle.
Good morning, Tony. What is, there's a couple of questions. What are the rules? This is kind of coming off the whole thing with Mike Krzyzewski in Oregon and that kind of stuff. But it brings, I guess, the questions. Do you have rules on your team, sportsmanship rules? You talked about the wooden pyramid, but do you have rules? Have you talked to your team about sportsmanship? In other words, when the game is kind of out of hand and you've got the game out of hand, what are sort of the rules? If you're up, do you tell your kids don't shoot, or if he does shoot? What are sort of the rules of sportsmanship? That's sort of the first part. What are your rules of sportsmanship?
I don't really have any rules. Just respect the game. I've always been brought up, try to respect the game. Mistakes are going to happen. I've made so many mistakes. Sometimes you get caught up in the heat of the moment, but try to respect the game. And but everybody has different philosophies on it. But I guess those pillars of ours, we try to, that they try to represent having respect and those kinds of things. So I don't. Is there a specific? I don't know if I'm answering that the way you want, or if I'm getting it.
When the game is out of hand, let's say one of your kids takes a shot, and you're up by 20. Is there sort of, do you have a rule that don't do that? If we're up by this much, just.
If the shot. Sometimes the coach, hey, don't take a shot if the shot clock. If the shot clock's going to expire, sometimes you can take one. But if I don't really have a hard and fast rule, so I think most coaches are fine with that and have that. We always try to run out the shot clock if you're up and the game's out of hand, and there's 20 seconds and you get the ball. Sometimes say don't shoot, but sometimes kids get excited and you're trying to, hey, don't let one go. You have your guys at the end of the bench in, or some of the walk-ons, and they want to, fire one up. Sometimes that happens, but you try to hold them off. But there's not a hard and fast rule.
My second part is just, do you have a rule about maybe you're a younger coach, but as an older coach, Mike said something to one of the kids' players, and a lot of coaches are saying, hey, listen, it's like a family. If you feel that you got to say something to one of my players, fine. I wonder if you have any feelings about that. Do you simply focus on your players, or do you think it's okay sometimes if one of the coaches, like a pillar of the game, a caretaker of the game, is it okay if he might say something to one of your players?
I remember Coach Knight after a game coming and talking to my father's teams and just saying, hey, well done on a game, or even if you lost a tough one. Guys like that who've been through it all and have seen it all and have done so much for the game, you have to honor that and respect that. So, like I said, I have so much respect for coaching. It's a unique profession, but I don't even know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know quite what you're talking about. I have not watched any games, so I don't know if you're getting at something specific. So
The specific one was that yesterday after Oregon had pulled away from Duke, the game was over, and their kid Brooks, the game was on, and he just let a three-pointer go. and it went, and he kind of, yay. So after the game, as they were shaking hands, Mike kind of stopped the kid and essentially said, listen, you're too good a player for that. You don't have to show off, blah, 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 blah. And after the game, at this situation, somebody asked the kid what happened, and he said, oh, this is what happened. Then they asked Mike about it, and Mike said, no, that didn't happen, blah, 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 blah. Well, of course, CBS had picked up the audio, and it did happen. So today, Mike put out a statement saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. He apologized to Dana. I shouldn't have, you coach your team, I coach mine. Yeah, so that's what happened.
Making a
To
mountain
make a
out
long
of a
story-
molehill. A mountain out of a molehill.
All right, we'll move on. Third row.
Now I know.
Todd Dybus from the Washington Times. Tony, how would you compare the group that you have right now to the low that you mentioned Rochester, Low, Rochester, Cowgill,
Kyle Weaver, yeah.
group out there in
Tho-
Pullman?
Yeah, those guys were awesome at Washington State. They were brought in similar to, come and be a part of trying to build something special where people maybe don't think you can do it. Similar in character. That's what we try to recruit guys that are, they're servants. They're humble. They're passionate. They understand. I mentioned this after the game, that they're very talented individually, but their way to touch greatness is in concert with each other. And not many of us, we always talk about that, can individually, there's the Jordans and there's the Ollie's and some of those great ones, but most of us have to do it with, others. And I think our guys have understood that. And that's what that group did, and that's what this group understands. And I said it too, they mean more to so many people than just basketball. I've watched them, and I know every coach says it about their players, but I've watched their influence on our community and at our school and how they carry themselves and what they're about, and that's been special to me. That makes me so happy and so thankful that I've gotten to coach them, and they're going to be successful beyond, after their careers are done, because they're about the right stuff, but similar, and that's the best stuff about coaching, without a doubt.
Go right here in the front.
Terry Holland mentions so often the sports psychologist you guys have and laying on the floor and visualizing from when he was taking those teams to the Final Four. I'm curious, do you do anything right now to manage the pressure, or do you lay on the floor in the dark and visualize the next day?
At night, I lay in the bed at dark and sleep, but I don't know. No, I think everybody has their own things that they do. Dr. Rotella, he's phenomenal. Actually, he sends me texts, and he's talked to our guys at different times. No, we have routines that we go through stuff, but there's nothing, I don't think, like that we're doing. Or I know Coach Jackson here probably did some cool stuff, some meditating stuff, but we just try to prepare, and I'm probably pretty basic when it comes to that stuff. But I think you feel each guy, what they're like, and I think they're allowed to do their own things if they need to. And but we're not, nothing that's noteworthy.
Go back on the right side.
Hey, Tony, when you asked about...
We listen to a lot of music. How's that? I just thought of that, so we'll warm up for practice. Where are we?
I'm over here.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, sorry. When you asked about Syracuse's improvements since January, you mentioned the 3 freshmen kind of right away.
Yeah.
How much do you think those guys have been reaping the benefits of such a tough ACC schedule?
Yeah, well, the ACC obviously is showing itself to be real strong. Of course, you play in this league, and there's so many good leagues in the country, but there's so many different kinds of systems and styles, and the talent and the depth, and I think that it battle tests you. It can break you a little bit at times, but you see a lot, and it does toughen you up. And for sure, those experiences you can't get unless you're going into certain venues and playing in intense settings and going against that talent. And they've just gotten better and better. And to see what they did last night, that composure to stay with it in a game like that and come away with it was impressive.
I may be reading a little bit into this, but with Syracuse, they have so many moving parts this year. A new point, Michael Beasley playing point guard for the first time, 3 freshmen, Dajuan Coleman's coming back from injury. It was especially important for them, do you think, to go through that kind of gauntlet than maybe you guys or North Carolina that maybe had a more solidified team coming in?
Well, I think you have to. That's the way you get. We try to play a real tough non-conference schedule. Wherever you're at, mature, immature, or young, you have to be tested in that moment. So I think it's very important. Yeah, I think it was great for them, the fact that they, hung tough and even, lost a tough game in the ACC tournament, but how they've played in the NCAA tournament. They're playing good ball. And, we knew they were talented and good when we played them. We were fortunate to it was a one-possession game late in that game. So, no, you need that. That's what this league, if you can survive it, it does prepare you, if you get good matchups, and you're right, to make a run in this tournament. And that's what I think the league is good. And you have opportunities to get multiple teams in, which is great.
We'll go on the left side.
Tony, do you think at all about the possibility of joining your dad as having coached the team to the Final Four at all, or do you not allow those thoughts right now?
I never wanted to coach. I've told this before. I thought I was going to play in the NBA for 10, 12 years and never coached. My sister was a coach at Indiana and Evansville and different places. My uncle, my dad, and I said, that is the last thing I want to do. It's way too much of a roller coaster ride. So I had no interest in it. But then when I ended up overseas, and I kind of I got injured and became a player coach. And I said, you know what? I know my dad's going to retire soon. I think when I come back, I'd just like to just be by his side and watch him finish out his career. So my first year, I was a volunteer manager for Wisconsin. That was the year in 2000 when they went to the Final Four. And I said, hey, this is pretty fun. It's pretty easy. Get to the Final Four in your first crack at it. I think I might like to do this. So I was bit at that point. Like, wow, I saw that magical run. I saw the excitement. And again, for me, the most gratifying thing was to see, my father reach what was a dream of his. And that was the best. When you see people you love achieve a desire like that, that's as good as it gets. So that was special. And yeah, it'd be great, I guess, to join him. I haven't really thought about that, a father, son, both getting to coach in it. But if we're fortunate enough to get there, we'll have some good conversations.
Go back on the right side.
Hey, Tony, Ava Wallace from the Washington Post. Does it surprise you at all to look down and see that it's Anthony and not the ACC Player of the Year who's leading scoring right now, or is that totally natural to you that those guys would switch off in that role? And then I think Coach McKay was at the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
But how meaningful is that for him who recruited a lot of these guys and
Sure.
was a big part of the program, just to have him there and then for him to get to see that win?
Well, our balance has been so important for us, and even seeing other guys. But Anthony's he's been so efficient, and guys got him the ball. We had some, his offensive rebounds, some of those plays at the end of the press, and Malcolm's getting, really guarded hard. But no, Anthony, he's capable. He's real aggressive, and you can see that in Malcolm and Anthony, and even London is. But those two are wired, to score and be aggressive. So absolutely not. And yeah, no, it was great. Coach McKay and I got to spend a little time. Our staff, I've been so fortunate. I have an unbelievable staff, and his hand is in this team. We were together for 6 years, friends before that, and just to do life together for that amount of time, be friends like that, and then I know how happy he is, and I'm so glad that he's a head coach again. I knew he would be, but to have him here was special.
Go back over to the left side on the aisle.
Hi, Coach Chris Herring from the Wall Street Journal. I guess I was wondering two things. First, what you just mentioned with regards to your dad and the injury. It seems like a lot of people coming up through this profession while they kind of get a lot of time on the bench to just kind of observe during injuries. I know Phil Jackson kind of had that same experience, and I think Luke Walton maybe had sort of the same thing under Phil. How much did that help you, and how much do you feel like that really had an impact on your decision to want to coach?
Yeah, I think growing up in a coaching home, again, it was really, I didn't want to coach. I thought, that's not for me. I was too up and down, and I'd rather do something else that's a little more steady and enjoyable. But once you get done playing, I realized I loved playing. That was the best. And then I became like a player coach when I was injured. I was like, you know what? This is the next best thing, because you're still part of the excitement of the game. You still can have those relationships and hopefully make a difference, and it's what you know. And so I think that part was good. And then obviously just growing up, understanding the game and watching, seeing him my father go through it, my sister, uncle, all those things obviously was a big part in it. So, I'm sure a lot of people said, oh, he's going to coach. But I promise you it was, nope, I didn't want to. And it just, but I realized I really like this, and maybe I was kidding myself, but there's a joy in playing that you can't touch. I know that. But coaching can be, there's a bad side of it, and I've seen that side of it, and there's some wonderful sides too. And it's just, like I said, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, but it's a unique profession.
I would ask you, you've probably been asked tons of pace questions during the tournament, but when you look at the rule change at the beginning of the season to lessen the shot clock. And then you look at the teams that are left or that have been left over the last week or so, and the fact that you guys are going to play Syracuse, another team that kind of slows the pace down a little bit. Do you feel like there's been any kind of unintended consequence, or is it just kind of coincidence that that a couple of the slower teams are still left, and maybe if they have more of an advantage because they're comfortable with the game?
Hard to say. I think if you want to advance and be a good team, you have to be solid defensively. Like, that's really important. And I think good defensive teams, as I mentioned before, sometimes the pace slows down because they're hard to score against right away. So that just lowers it. But you just have to choose a style for your program and yourself that gives you the best chance to be successful. And it may not appeal to everybody. That's okay. That's what's the beautiful thing about this game. There are different ways, different styles, different paces. And I think I know what I think works and gives us a chance. And I think these young men do, and they bought into it. I don't know. I just know defense is really important. You have to be good offensively. You have to be efficient. But in any sport, at any level, if you're not at least strong in that, I think it's hard to be real good.
Got time for one last question.
Mike Watersman, Syracuse Media Group. Tony, Jim was talking about the ACC schedule. And while the ACC's gotten a lot of teams into this year's tournament and they've had some success, like Florida State beat Notre Dame, Syracuse, and Virginia, I think, this year, but didn't get into the tournament. He thought with a better scheduling that the ACC could actually get more teams in. What do you think about the ACC schedule this season or in the past couple of years?
Yeah, I guess because I'm a younger coach, I don't have the experience that Coach Boeheim does. We really, when we have our head coaches meetings, we try to get as much information from those more experienced and seasoned coaches, but that have been in the Big East when they had so many teams in, and that is a goal of your conference. How can we get as many teams as possible? And, you're always working towards that. I don't know if there's a perfect answer, and it's changing a little bit, but, that's stuff I'm sure we'll address when we meet and say, okay, we took a step in the right direction, and we got 7 teams in, right? Yes, 7 teams this year. Maybe would have been 8, with Louisville, but how can we get more? And it's good to see they advance. I hope that this helps, that there's even more respect. I don't know if the committee looks at it that way, but it's a great league. And, yeah, some teams are well-deserving because it is a gauntlet in the conference. I think that's the one thing that's maybe being shown. And you ask anybody, they say, what's the toughest league in America? The one you're in. Every coach says that, and I think that's a good statement, and it's kind of true. But this is, as we said, this isn't a tiptoe league, to use something we talked about yesterday. It's a big boy league, and there's a few of those, and it's hard, and it's a fine line between being in the upper echelon and not being there, and we got to figure out ways to get as many as we can into the tournament.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
Yep.